All right, welcome back. The next step on the move bumper install is what I've decided to do. This was the plate that came with the bumper. It's designed to mount right in these mounting holes. But the chances of that lining up with the front of the bumper are pretty slim. And they also sent this piece right here that's designed to go, I think they want me to put it here. But if I were going to thread this hole, first of all, it's not thick enough metal to put threads in. And this is all closed off, so I have no way of getting a nut behind this. So what I think I've decided to do is I'm going to make a plate like this and weld it onto here. And then I'm going to come out and cut it. And then I'm going to take this piece and put on the front of the bumper, and I'm going to cut it, and I'll bolt the two pieces of plate steel together here. So I'll have a bolt here and a bolt here holding this piece onto a new piece of plating going on here. And then I think I'm going to do the same thing here. I think that I'm going to weld a piece of plating onto the side and come out a little ways and cut this, and I'll have two bolts here holding this piece onto the plating that I weld onto here. So I'm going to sort of frame this up with two pieces of plate sticking out with holes drilled in it, and I'll be able to stick my bumper up there and drill it through and just bolt it all together. I think that that's going to be the most secure way that I can attach the bumper to the front of the Trooper. I think that if I get into a strong winching situation where I have to really pull on this thing, I think that's going to be a lot stronger than what they sent. And listen, that's nothing against Move. You know, it might have worked using these two plates. It's really hard to say until I hold the bumper up there and see, and I'm going to have some help to do that. So my plan is to go ahead and grind some of this down and weld some plates on here. And then I can hold this up and see where I need to cut it. And I'll just cut this in half. I'll cut it like this. And I'll drill two holes here and screw that into the plate that I'm already going to have mounted to this. So that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. I think that's going to work really good. I'm just going to have to fabricate a plate to go on here that comes out and sticks out a little bit, and a plate that goes onto here and comes out and sticks out a little bit. And then I'll be able to hold my bumper up and see what I've got measurement-wise. I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. So let me get started on that, and we'll be right back. Channel. All right, so I'm up early this morning working on the bumper. I'm welding up the outside today. I got all the whole inside all sealed up. So let me show you what I'm doing. Come this way. So what I'm doing here, now my welder, you know, will only run for so long before it gets hot. So what I'm doing is I'm welding one seam at a time, and then I'll stop and grind that off while the welder cools, and then I'll hit another seam and then let the welder cool and grind that. I found that if you've got one of these kind of lightweight welders for your job, that works really good doing it that way. But you can see right here on this one how it's turning out. Turning out really nice. Now, keep in mind, this thing is going to have that monster liner covering it, so it's going to fix any little imperfections that are in the welds or in the metal anywhere, any of these little divots. All of that's going to get filled in with monster liner. Now, it rained on it the other day, and you can see it's getting a little bit of surface rust on it. Not a big deal. I'm going to grind that whole thing off, and then I'll put an acid etch primer on it. It's coming along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish welding up these few seams right here, And then I'm going to show you what I decided to do on the jack plate, on the winch plate on the inside. And so let me finish welding this up and I'll be right back. All right, we're getting closer, guys. I've got the front all welded up, and I have one little problem spot. If you'll look right here where they folded these two pieces of metal together, there's a triangular opening here. And what I've decided to try to do is I'm going to try to fit, it's kind of hard to see with these gloves on. I've got a little triangular piece of metal. There you go, you can see that. I'm going to try to tack that in and get that to work, because I tried to just fill it in with weld on this other side and I never could get it to fill in enough. So I'm going to have to cut another little piece for this. I'm going to fill in these two corners, and I'm going to do some grinding on this back side. You can see the back side's all welded up. Just got to do some grinding on it, smooth it out some, and I'll be right back. All right, fellas, here is that corner all finished up. Looking pretty good. Now, once again, these little rough spots around here, I'm not worried about, because this is going to get monster liner. It's going to fill all that in. It's very thick. You won't see any of that. These little rough spots on this weld right here, it's not going to be a problem at all. All right, I'm going to cut a piece for the other side. I'll be right back. And here is the other corner. I know it's kind of bright out here in this bad lighting, guys, but I can't help that. See, the other corner turned out pretty nice. Pretty nice. All right. The next step is I guess we're getting close to putting our mounting pieces on it to put it on the truck. So I might be able to brace this up just a little bit more right here. I think I'll brace that up just a little bit more, and then it's almost time to stick it on the truck. I gotta go get some bolts. So when I get all that done, I'll be right back. All right, what I just finished now is I put these two little braces on the winch plate just to give it a little bit of extra support on each side, making it super strong. Probably didn't need it, but this thing is not going anywhere. Now, my big concern about strength, let me get you guys straight here. Now, my big concern about strength, it's like 100 degrees, 95% humidity. On the frame of the Trooper, there's two little plates like this that it has to bolt onto. It's pretty thin metal. I mean, I don't know what gauge it is, but I'm thinking about reinforcing that somehow before I bolt the bumper on. Where I'm at though is I'm gonna need to put the bracketry on the Trooper and then have somebody hold it up there and get it perfectly level, and then tack that bracketry in, and then I can take the whole thing down and weld it up good. So I'm about to try to get some help over here, and I gotta go get some bolts, some grade 8 bolts, and see if I can get it bolted up and tacked together. And once I do that, I'll be able to reinforce the whole thing and really see what I got. It's hard to see what I have until I kind of get it bolted onto the Trooper so that I can tell where I need to put my bracing against the frame and put some additional pieces on. Listen, if you guys are ever doing any metal work and you need to take the finish off of metal really quickly, these things are amazing. It's a nylon brush. It just smooths the metal out so nice. I definitely recommend getting one of these. I use these before I put my monster liner on the outside of the Trooper, and it just took the paint off perfectly without that kind of grinding that you get from a wheel. So I'm going to hit the inside of that with this and see how it works. And here's what I'm left with after that nylon wheel that I showed you. Everything's nice and shiny. Alright, so the next thing that I have to do, there are some spots down in the corners that have some rust in them that I couldn't get to with the wheel or a brush. So I bought some Ospo, and I'm going to spray Ospo all over the whole thing just to make sure I killed all that surface rust everywhere. And then I'm going to wash that off and etch prime it, and then I'll be ready for Monster Liner, which is already ordered. I got black Monster Liner ordered, and at the same time that I do this bumper, I'm going to do underneath my hood of the Trooper, because the under hood padding is starting to fall down. I'm going to get rid of that, just coat it with Monster Liner. I'll be done with that. So I'm going to bring you guys along. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. I just sprayed it down with the Ospo. You can see out there, it's out in the rain. It started raining on me out there. But I'm going to let that Ospo set for about 30 minutes. And what that does, it's a chemical that that turns all the little surface rust black to regular metal. And I'm going to wash it down with a hose, and then I'm going to bring it in and dry it down really good and do like a final cleaning and pre-paint, and then I'm going to put my acid etch primer on it. And once I get to that stage, I'll be back. All right, guys. Let me tell you where I'm at. I would not recommend that Ospo. It messed up the whole bumper. If I can show you this, you can see how where the Ospo was, it turned this film over the whole bumper. And I don't know if it's from that nylon brush or what, but there's like this rubberized coating on part of it that's not coming off. So I've got to redo the whole thing. And I've started with a new wheel. This wheel is working much better. And you can see where I got this whole half ready. And I'm not putting any more rust prohibitive or anything like that on it. I'm just putting the acid etch primer. And once I get the rest of this ground down and sanded down flat, I have to do the inside. I'm going to do a little bit of hand sanding work on a few parts. And then we're just going to put primer on it. Yeah, that was a huge mistake. I don't even know if that can be painted over correctly. I know this can. So this surface looks super nice right here. I really like that new wheel. This wheel is way better than that one I had. And it's even aggressive enough I can fine tune my beads a little bit. Show you how that's looking. It's looking pretty good. All right, guys. I'm going to get a little bit more done. I'm going to finish the redoing the sanding. All right, I just hit it with a coat of acid etch primer on the inside. The reason that I did that so soon is it was rusting so fast. I would get to one end and it would already be rusting by the time I got to the other end. The humidity here is so high. I decided to go ahead and just sand it down and shoot it. And if I'm gonna have to grind a little bit off right here to weld it to the truck. And that won't be a big deal though. At least I got the rest of it covered. So I'm going to let that dry and then flip it over and get the other side. Here's what we got so far. All right, that's looking awesome. All right, guys, here's where I'm at. I held this up and did a trial fit, and this bracket is too short to attach to this. The bumper is sucked underneath the front of the truck farther than I would like. So my plan is I'm fabricating some new brackets like this that are longer so that I can get it to attach to the front of the bumper and get the bumper to stick out like I would like. And so this is what I've got right here as a new bracket. You can see I'm going to make it longer by about that far, and I'm going to elongate my holes, and then after I get the bracket up, I'm going to weld another plate on top of here to reinforce this so this is not such big holes. I'll make another plate like this and sandwich it on top of there after I get it up. But those brackets were too short, and it put the bumper sucked way back underneath the cab further than what I would like. I really want it to stick out a little bit further. I think it looks a little bit better. So I'm going to work on getting these new brackets made, and I'll be right back. All right, here we are. It's Saturday morning. We're back at it. The sun is just starting to come up. I've been working on these new brackets for about 30 minutes now, and I have them finished. And so let me show you what I came up with over here. And now keep in mind, this is the stock bracket that came with the bumper. And the problem is when I held it up, it was too short. So as I put this up here, it did not fit to reach where the bumper needed to be. And what ended up happening is it sucked the bumper too far up underneath the front of the grill here. And so I fabricated some new ones. You can see here they turned out pretty good, and they have some room to slide back and forth, a little bit of an adjustment. Now once I get the bumper up here and get it tack welded, my plan is when I get it level and perfectly square, I'm gonna put another piece of plate steel on top of this just to give me that much more reinforcement. Should work out just fine. I think I'm going to. I don't know, I may not need it. I'm going to look at it and see. Let's see kind of how strong it looks and how level it is and everything. If I need to adjust these little holes and grind this out a little bit, of course I always can. And then once I get this up and tacked in, I can start on my secondary attachment point, which is going to be right onto here. And there will be another piece that comes out and ends up looking like this. Of course it'll be shorter. It looks something like that. I can't determine, and I may actually cut these and use these as my secondary pieces that go up here. I just can't determine that until I get it up and in place and level with these, and then I'm going to use these as my holders in order to put the secondary piece on. All right, guys, that's what I got so far. I think so far the bumper is turning out pretty easy. Haven't had any really problems. If I would have followed the directions and started with it on the frame first and then built out from there, that's just really hard to do by yourself. This was the only way I could see ever being able to get the bumper in place and up and welded together all by myself. Not having somebody to hold it for you and to hold the joints together while you tack weld them, that's been quite a challenge. And so if you're going to build one of these bumpers, strongly recommend trying to get a friend to help you. You know, I just don't have anybody that lives in my area that I'm close enough to that I can ask to come spend their Saturday holding tack welds. And so doing this thing pretty much alone, and it's turning out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it so far. So the one thing I am going to have help with, I'm getting ready to have a couple of family members come over and at least help me hold this bumper up while I tack weld it. There's no other way. I don't have enough jacks and wood frames and everything to build a frame strong enough to hold the bumper up there while I tack weld it. So got a couple of people coming as soon as they get woke up this morning, and my girlfriend Kate and my parents are gonna come, and hopefully they're strong enough they can hold this up while I just put a couple tacks in it. And then once I do that, I can do everything else myself. All right, I'm gonna bring you guys along. Don't go away. Let me get you guys caught up to speed here. So I got my braces in, and I'm putting some little corner pieces to help bracket it up a little bit stronger here, as you can see. And after I do that, you can see this side right here. Haven't put the bracket pieces on there yet. All right, and then after I do that, I'm gonna put it back on the truck and figure out how I'm gonna put my second piece, my second bracket on there. But you can see that's turning out pretty good, huh? Having a little bit of trouble getting my welds to penetrate very well. I'm a little bit concerned about that. I mean, I know I'm maxing out this little handy core, and I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to sand some of this, grind some of this coating that this metal has on it off, and maybe I'll get a little better penetration, go a little bit slower with it. But anyway, I'm working on that. I wish the welds was penetrating a little bit better. I'm really fighting with it, but at least it's on the back, right? It's not going to show. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. That's what I've got so far. That is going to look awesome on there. Now let me go underneath and show you guys what I've got under here. All right, so if you'll notice under here, you can see, let me back the camera out here so we can tell what we're doing. All right, if you can look right here, you can see where I have the bracket. I have the bracket put right here. And installed in the bumper like so. It's kind of hard to film this for you guys. I hope I'm not moving the camera too much. But you can see right there. And then right here, and you can see how it goes up and attaches. Now, the next thing that I have to do is I'm gonna build another bracket that goes off of this right here and comes out and does the same thing and attaches to this back here. You see, you guys can tell what I'm doing there? So there's gonna be a bracket right here that comes out and attaches right up here. All right, that's my next phase. I had to get it to here so I could tell what I've got. Man, how good does that look? My camera's acting kind of weird on the lighting. Sorry, guys. But check that out. So pumped. There we go. Now you guys can see it. All right, y'all. Man, it's like 100 degrees out here, 95% humidity, and you guys can see what I'm wearing. Full sleeves, pants. I probably lost 5 gallons of water. I can't drink it fast enough, but that looks good. Check it out one more time. Look at my garage. My garage is a disaster. Now, if I focus in on the bumper, you guys can see how cool it's going to look. There we go. Camera freaks out when I walk out into the sun. It gets dark. But look how cool that's going to be. All right, we'll be right back. I think I'm going to go take a shower, drink some water, and work on this just a little bit more after a while. See you guys in a little bit. All right, time for an update. Let me show y'all what I got done so far. So I got my tabs on there. Now, what I ended up doing was putting this one on strong and holding it up there with these two, and that allowed me to see what I needed to do to fit this one in. And it's just tack welded right now because I just pulled it off so I could finish welding this up. And these two bolts right here bolt right into my tab I put on here. Now, of course, I'm going to reinforce this with all kinds of metal bracketry and reinforcements, but the big bracket slides right in here, and that smaller bracket's just going to come bolt right onto this tab here. And you see I have one on both sides. And if everything goes like expected, it should bolt right on. I guess we'll see. So what I have to do now is I'm going to finish welding up these tabs. I'm going to wallow out these holes a little bit more because they were pretty tight for a 1/2 inch bolt. So I'm going to just ream those out just a little bit, weld all this up, design my bracketry to go here. Let me get y'all where you can see. Design some bracketry to go along here and weld this where it's super strong. Haven't decided exactly what I want to do with that yet, but I'm going to figure it out on both sides. So that's what I'm going to work on next, is getting all those tabs welded up and reinforced. You notice I changed shirts. I had to go in and just take a shower and rest for a minute. I was getting dizzy, I was so hot. Long sleeves, long pants, super hot. So it's coming along, man. I'm super excited about it. My monster liner came in too in the mail, so once we get everything finished, we're going to roll a coat of that. We should be good.